To prove that my boyfriend wasn't human, I actually jumped off the balcony of the 80th floor. Seeing this, my boyfriend just sighed. Then without hesitation leapt down after me. At that moment, I knew I had that right. He really wasn't human. But all of this started a few years ago. On the first day of school, the country assigned the spirit beasts based on our grades. Class beauty, who ranked first in the exams, immediately picked the SSS level 9 tail fox. And as for me, the one ranked last in the class, I ended up with only an F-rated, weak little brown bear. Little did I know the extreme ice age apocalypse was coming soon. After forming a contract with that brown bear, I luckily shared its cold resistance ability. That's how I survived the freezing wasteland of the end times. On the other hand, the 9-tailed fox chosen by the class beauty, that immature creature, died from the cold. On the very first day of the apocalypse, driven mad with jealousy, she led a group of classmates to ambush me, killing my brown bear. Not stopping there, they put it into a big pot of bear meat hot pot right in front of me, feasting while laughing at me. Overwhelmed with rage, I coughed up blood and collapsed, losing my life. When I opened my eyes again, I found myself back at the day when the spirit beasts were distributed. As the worst performing student in the class, I could only wait until everyone else had picked before making my choice. Sure enough, what remained was still that unwanted brown bear. Just as I reached out to pick it up, the class beauty shouted at the top of her lungs, "Wait!" There she came running over, holding that small 9-tailed fox in her arms. Without a word, she shoved the 9-tailed fox into my hands, and instead took away the lonely brown bear from the box.
The 9-tailed fox is yours, and this brown bear is mine.
All the students in the classroom stared in utter shock. Even the homeroom teacher looked confused. You have to know this 9-tailed fox is the purest blooded among this batch of spirit beasts. It is said to have up to 80% ancient bloodline concentration, compared to that brown bear with only 20% bloodline, and a particularly low-grade species. It is way stronger. The teacher quickly advised her.
Miu Yan, choosing a spirit beast is no joking matter. This is related to your future prospects.
Jiang Miu Yan bit her lower lip, blinked her big watery eyes, and said,
Teacher, Yanxi actually needs this 9-tailed fox more than I do. My grades are already good, so no matter what spirit beast I get, I'll succeed in cultivation. But Yanxi's talent isn't great to begin with. If she ends up with a bloodline as poor as that brown bear's, she'll basically be ruined for life.
These words directly won applause from the whole class. The homeroom teacher also nodded approvingly.
Well said. The most important thing in cultivation is cultivating the heart. Since you have such a kind heart, even if your spirit beast is a bit lacking, you are sure to achieve great things.
After saying that, he glared at me sharply.
What are you standing there dumbfounded for? Hurry up and thank Miu Yan.
I blinked a couple of times, casually pushed the 9-tailed fox forward. No need to swap rides. I think that brown bear is just fine. Jiang Miu Yan was clearly a bit flustered. Now, holding that brown bear even tighter, her pitiful little look made it seem like I was bullying her. Then she turned and said,
Yanxi, stop testing me. I genuinely want to swap with you.
But I wasn't buying it at all, and continued, really no need to swap. But before I could finish, my right hand was suddenly bitten by something. Looking down, I realized it was bitten by the little 9-tailed fox. Blood flowed out from the wound. The little 9-tailed fox stuck out its tiny tongue, gently licking my wound. In the blink of an eye, I was actually forced by this 9-tailed fox to make a contract. And it was a life and death bloodline contract. All the classmates were staring at me, making waves of teasing sounds.
Originally thought Yanxi was being ungrateful by rejecting the 9-tailed fox. Didn't expect it was all an act, saying they didn't want it, but secretly rushing to sign a contract with the 9-tailed fox. Afraid the school beauty would suddenly change her mind. Such a hypocrite with deep schemes.
And as soon as the contract was signed, the little 9-tailed fox drifted off to sleep. Hearing all those gossiping whispers around, my face flushed red right then. They had no idea. I really looked down on this useless 9-tailed fox. After being forced into the contract, could only sit back down in my seat under their disdainful looks, because only I knew in my heart, this seemingly highly sought-after 9-tailed fox would become a useless burden in half a month. No, not just me. Jiang Miu Yan knew it too. When she gave up the 9-tailed fox and insisted on competing with me for this brown bear, I had already realized she was just like me, both reborn people. In the previous life, Jiang Miu Yan chose the 9-tailed fox, while I was forced to sign a contract with that unwanted brown bear. Who would have thought, just a few months later, a terrifying extreme cold apocalypse suddenly arrived. The whole world plunged into minus 50-degree freezing cold. Earth seemed to turn into a supersized freezer. But because the pure-blooded 9-tailed fox, then the hybrid spirit beast, the growth period is much longer. So when the extreme cold comes to an end, 9-tailed fox is still a small waste that only drinks milk. Lead to the last day, it was frozen hard, and my brown bear, under my careful care, have entered the juvenile. And the talent of awakening, it happens to be the ability to share in the extremely low temperatures of minus 50 degrees. He shared his cold fighting talent with me, so I also became in the end a person who is not afraid of the cold. I followed the school that day, organized power squad. When you go out looking for supplies, and tried to lure brown bears several times, released the contract with me, wanting to become his own spirit beast, but they were all rejected by the brown bears. Hit the wall several times. Kang Yuyan became angry from embarrassment, spread rumors everywhere, said as long as the meat of the brown bear, you can get this cold resistance, is finally at once on the way out to find supplies. Ginger Miu Yan unites others, killed me and the brown bear. In the end of eating people to live, we become the food in their mouths. When I got back to God, I was worried, looking at the brown bear in Kang Yuyan's head. In my last life, I was like a brown bear is the most trusted partner. I didn't expect this life to be. Kang Yuyan took a lead. I don't care if I lose my talent for cold resistance, is worried about the brown bear. Follow her will not starve and freeze. Will you be wrong? However, as I looked at the brown bear in the daze, only to find that it is also secretly observing me. The moment our four eyes are opposite, a brown bear as big as a toy, he blinked at me twice, not once, not 3 times, and it happens to be twice. A moment of ecstasy in my heart, because blink twice, it is the last word between me and the brown bear. Blink your eyes twice, it means to reassure me. From the move I just made to keep it, it found that I was born again. Now, he is telling me the same old way, it was also reborn. Think of here, I can't help but sympathize. Take a look at the smoke ginger. Don't be a brown bear. The simple and honest appearance was cheated. He is not at all docile. In the bones of this brown bear is a very black lord. When I was with the brown bear, when you communicate quickly with your eyes, suddenly the fingertips felt warm. I looked down. It was my teacher who was angry and noble. 9-tailed fox woke up.
I am not a loser.
A proud, and the sound of milk gas rang out.
And women, don't stare at that. Look at the Yogli monster.
I gently poked the little 9-tailed fox with my finger. Asked it in a low voice, were you just talking to me? The little 9-tailed fox just snorted proudly. Then in my arms, lazy turned over. I don't think we should call it the 9-tailed fox. It should be called a master.
Woman, My name is Moon White. You can call the young master if you
I
want.
poked his little head. Little thing who taught you such a secondary true line. Meanwhile, the class teacher on the platform is speaking how to draw the contract array. Generally, human beings take the initiative to contract spirit beasts, but all as are arrogant by nature, force of childhood. Although relatively docile, but very little initiative, making a contract with a human is only done with someone especially close. After the homeroom teacher finished speaking, all the students started trying to contract their own spirit beasts, but I was the only exception. If I hadn't seen it with my own eyes, who would believe that I was forcibly contracted by a nine-tailed fox? Yue Bai, why did you actively contract with me? Yue Bai said with a look of disgust.
That woman smells really bad.
I have jokingly told it. Jiang Muyan is recognized as the school belle. So many guys chase after her, praising how fragrant she is. Yue Bai retorted angrily.
Their eyes are all blind. They can't see the stench in her bones.
What about me? I deliberately teased him. The little nine-tailed fox in my arms dug its head between my legs, its voice sounding a bit awkward.
You're passable. You're pretty sweet.
Only then did I understand why Yue Bai insisted on shamelessly contracting with me. When I had nothing to do, I would tweak the nine-tailed fox's ears, then pinch its little belly, and finally couldn't resist, directly going for its fluffy, tempting big tail. They say a fox's tail can't be touched, but he is still a kid now. How could I pass up such a good opportunity? The little nine-tailed fox's furry big tail. Isn't it for mom to touch? I just placed my hand on the tail and stroked it once. Yue Bai's whole body stiffened like it was electrocuted. Amid the snow-white fur, a faint pink color emerged.
Take your hand away quickly. You are being a pervert.
Looking just like a little wife being teased. I blinked my eyes twice, embarrassedly, pulling my hand back, then turning the tables and saying, "Little one, stop thinking all the time about those messy things." Yue Bai was so angry with me. Tears welled up in her eyes instantly. She turned her head away, angrily, and simply ignored me. At this moment, on the other side of the classroom, on Jiang Muyan's delicate face, a proud smile appeared. She initiated a contract with the brown bear. The contract array shrunk upon the brown bear and spun rapidly around it. Unbeknownst to everyone inside the array, the brown bear secretly mobilized its spiritual power and covertly altered two parts of the array pattern. What was originally an ordinary equal contract was thus imperceptibly transformed into a master-servant contract, except that the brown bear became the master, and Jiang Muyan became the servant instead. This was a special array we discovered when I went out training with the brown bear before. Inside the ruin, I didn't expect that the brown bear would use its scheme against Jiang Muyan. Now, the successful brown bear gave me a triumphant glance. I secretly hid my hand under the desk and gave it a thumbs up, so never offend a quiet person.
You bad woman.
A sulking voice suddenly rang in my ear. It was my arrogant and stubborn little master again. How am I bad? I carelessly pinched his soft cheeks. Though not very fleshy, it felt particularly good.
You touched my tail and were flirting with other men. Moreover, he's a dark-skinned, ugly man.
Yue Bai felt more and more wronged as he spoke. I sighed lightly. It seems I have to add one more thing. You're also a jealous little master. After a while, all the classmates completed their contracts. The homeroom teacher handed out a set of cultivation materials to everyone. I only kept a spirit stone for myself. He ate all the rest as snacks for Yue Bai. He crunched through 19 spirit stones like they were crispy snacks. Before we even made it out of the classroom door, my spirit stones were completely devoured by him. All the classmates were staring at me, and their eyes were full of astonishment.
Yanxi must be out of her mind, giving a whole week's worth of cultivation resources all to the nine-tailed fox. Was she even paying attention in class just now? Doesn't she know that spirit beasts grow slowly? Spirit stones are mainly for your own cultivation use. What a waste for the nine-tailed fox to form a contract
Even
with
the
her.
homeroom teacher frowned.
Some students need to be more careful. The monthly quota for spirit stones is limited. If you waste them, the school won't issue more.
I knew the teacher was talking about me, but I just obediently agreed. To be honest, in my previous life, I was indeed very generous to Brown Bear. Others usually split cultivation resources 4-1, but Brown Bear and I always went 50-50. After all, I believed that as partners, we should share equally. But even with Brown Bear, I never went as far as I did with the nine-tailed fox. He ate 19, and I only kept one for myself. Everyone thought I was crazy. Even I felt like I was losing my mind because I suddenly remembered something. I formed a bloodline contract with the nine-tailed fox, unlike an ordinary equal contract, where if one dies, it doesn't affect the other. But a bloodline contract is completely different. This kind of contract means life and death are tied together. If the nine-tailed fox dies like in my previous life, frozen on the first day of the apocalypse, I'll be done for 2. Because of this, right now, this little ancestor's life is more precious than anything in the remaining time. All the classmates went off to cultivate on their own. I picked up the nine-tailed fox and got ready to leave. As I passed by Jiang Muyan's side, she suddenly stepped aside and blocked my way, lowered her voice and said to me,
I know you've been reborn too. This time, it's my turn. The contract brown bear has mastered the ability to withstand the cold.
but I just slightly raised the corner of my mouth. Then I wish you a long and healthy life. Jiang Muyan's face was filled with smugness.
With the brown bear by my side, I'll surely live like a queen. As for you, you can just wait with your useless fox to freeze to death on the first day of the apocalypse.
At that moment, the nine-tailed fox in my arms lazily glanced over, then suddenly lifted its butt, aimed at Jiang Muyan, and loud, stinky. Jiang Muyan's elegant image instantly crumbled, screaming as she stumbled backward.
Yanxi, are you insane? Get this disgusting fox away from me.
I chuckled softly. Holding the nine-tailed fox, I turned and walked away. Thinking about how raising spirit beasts is a bottomless pit, requiring a massive amount of spirit stones, it became my biggest challenge. So while stroking the nine-tailed fox's fur, I started brainstorming and suddenly remembered that before the apocalypse in my past life, the media had exposed the small spiritual vein. If my calculations were correct, that place should still be undiscovered. Then I took the nine-tailed fox with me, hopped in the car, and rushed over immediately. Soon I arrived at the location I'd marked in my past life, only to find that Jiang Muyan had already beaten me to it. As the young lady of a prestigious family, her connections and resources were simply incomparable to mine. Standing at the edge of the spiritual vein, I could only watch helplessly as she led more than 20 burly men, frenziedly mining spirit stones. Meanwhile, the nine-tailed fox curled up in my arms, its eyes watering as it stared hungrily at the sparkling spirit stones, salivating uncontrollably. I quickly covered its eyes. Don't look, my dear. The quality of these spirit stones is terrible. Mom will take you somewhere else to find food. Then I held the nine-tailed fox, reluctantly walking away. But before we got far, a sudden thought flashed through my mind. A voice of surprise echoed in my head.
Sister, is that you?